Welcome back to the show. It's Beefy Presents live on Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Thursday, September 19th. Good morning, Rico.
Good morning.
And good morning, Emil.
Howdy.
And good morning, Tucson. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. It's going to be a fun one. Mari's going to be stopping by a little bit later as well. Herb Stratford's going to be in studio. We're going to meet a chef, judge, and give away tickets for Falling in Reverse. So all that and more is on the agenda for the party that is Thursday morning. Some of you are probably like hardcore rock stars this morning. Did a turnaround after seeing Green Day and Smashing Pumpkins last night in Chase Field, and you're up early. And if you're hearing this and you went to Green Day last night, I salute you. You're someone out there that is grabbing life by the balls, and you're sacrificing your 8 hours so you can have a good time, live life to the fullest, and then still get up to the grind. So
Just wash your hands.
Why? Grabbing life by the balls?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, assume life has clean balls. Let's just assume
I would
that.
hope so.
This is true.
Yeah,
I'm an optimist.
Yeah, exactly. You know, like my life is very shaved and baby powdered. So
Good to know.
yes, but yeah. So what were you gonna say, Emil?
I forgot. Oh,
Okay.
yeah. You sleep when you're dead. You know what? Go to the Green Day concert and come back to Tucson. Go right to work. You know, tell everybody about it.
Yeah, it looked like a good time too. I saw Robin Nash was up there with Mac, and they had some kind of suite. I saw a bunch of radio people, right? All in a suite. I'm like, oh, there was a radio suite. I gotta
Fancy.
check my spam folder. Did the email go right there? I did not.
The invite must have been lost.
Oh,
I'm so sorry,
damn.
Beef.
Oh, no. So you're right. Probably don't want to see Green Day. What's the name of that band again?
They're
Tell me
going
about
somewhere.
them. Yeah, but no, that's fine. Next Wednesday, to make up for it, we'll let the old people enjoy Green Day, and Enrico and I are going to enjoy Falling in Reverse.
Yeah.
Gotta stay
Yeah,
hip, you know?
take
Yeah, that's
that.
right. That's right.
They
Yeah.
can't hang.
Yeah. Not in the suite or nothing. Whatever.
You're going to be up.
I don't like sweets anyways. I'll tell you why. Because, my vision's so bad. Like for years, whenever I'm in at these public events or even movie theaters, I was thinking to myself, I'm like, how do people enjoy this? You know what I mean? Like,
For real.
Yeah, like I don't necessarily get it because you can't see anything. And
Right.
I didn't realize it was a me thing. there are people out there that have like great vision who could like see and regular seats. And I'm sitting there like, this sucks, dude.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can't see anything. You see some shadows moving around. What's the point of this?
Why aren't you building your lives the way I want you to, you know?
Yeah, I know.
You're doing it wrong.
So if I'm not on stage, I'm not seeing what's going on. But we got pretty good seats for Falling in Reverse, and the seats that we're giving away today, probably lawn seats, to be honest with you. But Rico and I will look back and wave if you win them, and those tickets are going to be given away around 7:10 this morning. We've been playing a fun game called Spelling in Reverse, for the honor of
Oh, no.
Falling in Reverse, obviously.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, you get it? So it's right there on the nose. And I'll tell you what, initially I was like, this game's going to be impossible. And to some, it has been. But to women, they've been nailing it, dude.
Really?
Like, they have been killing it. We have Felicia call in on the first day, and I know Felicia's backstory a little bit. I think she's a principal or she's an educator of
Well,
some
that
sort.
would make sense.
Big
I guess.
brains.
She was shouting it out like a Rain Man to where like her opponent, I think his name was Nick, was just like, yeah, dude, give it to her. Like, hats off. Like, it was nothing but respect because he was just blown away by how good she was. And it is a difficult game, and I'll prove it to you right now because I want to play it. So, Rico and Emil.
You're doing this first thing
I
in the
know,
morning.
man.
huh?
My
That's right.
brain's like in
Great.
boot up mode
Okay,
right now.
shut up with the excuses and bitching. We're getting right into it, okay? The way that it works is I'm going to just start spelling the word backwards. As soon as you recognize the word, you're going to buzz in with, well, you can just go ahead and shout it out since I can see you guys.
Cool.
All right, so here's our first word. And if you don't know what it is, I'll give you a clue as well. All right, so starting backwards. ETUHCARAP. See, guys are terrible at this game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
I
in
was
radio.
focusing
I'm
on the
not-
first three letters, and my brain went, huh?
Okay, and here's the clue. A device for slowing a fall from a height.
Parachute?
Yes. All right, here's another one. All right, REGRUBMAH. You're not even trying.
No,
I
my
can
brain
tell.
gave up already. I told you. It's
Yeah,
too
look
early.
at you. A little bit of adversity. What you do is you
Like
take your
you
ball and go
would do
home.
better.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
would try.
yeah,
I would
let's reverse.
try.
Let's flip
Let's
it.
change this around.
Yeah.
Okay, can
Wait
you
a
do
second.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Mr.
Emil. Hold on, Emil. Rico, are you the guy that posts motivational reels about, like just being determined and setting your mind to things and blah, 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 blah?
Yeah.
I mean, how many times I see you sweaty in the gym giving a little life advice, like never give up, never give in.
That's afternoon.
No, that's nonsense.
Spell stuff
Did you go to the
backwards.
gym
Spell
already
stuff
this
backwards.
morning?
You want to be a winner, you got to spell things backwards.
Did you go to first off, you exercise your muscles and your mind. Did you go to the gym this morning?
No.
Okay, well, you did the other day, so it doesn't matter. The
Like
point
once
is,
a month, he's impressed.
the point is, don't give up. Weak. Did you guess the word, by the way, Emil?
No, give me a little bit of a hint.
A popular sandwich with a beef patty.
A beef
Pastrami. No,
a hamburger.
Yeah, no, Rico's not guessing. You're not.
I might have got lucky.
It's
I
ham-
told you I was.
No, it was
I was awake.
hamburger. It was hamburger. So, look, as difficult as it may seem, surprisingly, people have been killing it at this game. So, I'll give you another example. 7:10, and tickets for Falling in Reverse will be on the line. So, now you know the name of the game. Now, this year is a monumental year for Saturday Night Live. And it's the 50th anniversary. I'm super stoked about that, to be honest with you. I grew up with Saturday Night Live, where, like when I was 10, 11, 12, watching Wayne's World and stuff.
It's the best years, man.
Well, everyone
love
feels
it.
like they
Glory
have their
years.
best years. But I was watching, of course, the reruns of Comedy Central. And yeah, I mean, ebbs and flows, peaks and valleys when you go on a long run like this. They just announced their hosts and musical guests of the first 5 shows of the season. First season opener is on September 28th with Gene Smart as the host and Jelly Roll, because Jelly Roll doesn't say no to a gig. And then they say on November 2nd, it's an important show because it's right before the election. And no one wants to do that show because tensions are at all-time high right before the election.
We have an election.
Yeah. John Mulaney is returning for like the 10th time. And Chappelle Roan, who's literally everywhere within the last 6 months. Chappelle Roan is going to be the musical guest. So, yeah, they just announced that. Stevie Nicks is returning to Saturday Night Live for the first time in over 40 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, as the musical guest. Yeah,
Cool.
I know.
Cool, Stevie.
That's where all your money goes.
Getting on here as we're just live on the stream, and I was just showing. Oh, sorry, my mic wasn't on. All right, we're getting on here. We're just live on the stream. I'm just showing Studio Llanos. Our guest in studio right now is a culinary legend here locally who has been the head chef and proprietor of restaurants you probably been to on your like anniversary nights and where you want to go treat yourself. He's a James Beard award-winning chef, Llanos Wilder. Good morning, Llanos.
Good morning.
Chef,
So do you go by beef? Do you go by beef? What do I call you?
You call me beef. Yeah.
Okay,
The
thank
beef.
you very much. All right.
You're a chef. You're familiar with
Well, yeah, no,
beef.
yes, I know. I know my cuts of meat.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm prime. But yeah. So yeah, Chef Llanos right off the bat was like, "What the hell am I walking into here? A
vegan show?
Vegan? What the? Yeah."
What the hell?
But Chef, correct me if I'm wrong. Your restaurants include Llanos, Wild Johnny's Wagon, J Bar, Downtown Kitchen and Cocktails, and a Carriage House. Are you an owner of all those?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Yeah, but you opened and
Yeah,
operated.
those were all my restaurants.
Nice.
Yes, I've been a sole proprietor for every business I've ever had.
Oh, nice.
I've never had any partners. Those are all of my businesses. But I'm a chef.
Yes.
That's,
Chef first.
That's what I do.
Yeah. And then just the businessman aspect of it, did that something that you developed over, a few years after being a chef, or do you always
If
have
it-
that
if it
mentality?
if it takes that long, you're no longer doing it.
Right, yeah.
No, if you love what you do, you have to learn all parts of it. And if you're like I didn't want to have partners, so you have to learn all parts of it. And so you have to be, in a way, as passionate about those pieces of it to make sure you're staying in business. So yeah, I learned to become a businessman. I like that piece of it.
Yeah.
but I've really liked simplifying all that stuff at Studio Janos, I have to tell you.
Right, yeah, we're live on Rockwell 2.1 KFMA. That is Chef Janos Wilder. We're talking about, being a chef slash a businessman and proprietor. As he's owned some of the most notable restaurants in town. Opening up his first restaurant here in Tucson in 1983.
You guys weren't born then, were you?
Yeah, I was. Enrico wasn't.
Had a few
I
years.
wasn't.
No, neither was Mari. Yeah, I hang out with younger people. It makes me look younger. I feel younger. But I was there. I'd still be eating off the kiddie menu if I was, in your restaurant in 1983.
All right.
What was the name of the restaurant you opened up in 1983?
Janos.
It was Janos.
Yeah.
Okay. So you just named after yourself. How old were you?
28.
28. And did it take you a while to save up enough money to open up your own restaurant?
It takes a long time, and it takes a co-signer.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah.
So I had a co-signer, so I borrowed money from the bank,
Mm-hmm.
had a co-signer, borrowed money from the bank, paid it back,
Right.
and then, each one, it gets a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Then you get a track record, and then the bank says, "Hey, don't you want to do something? We got, don't you want to borrow more money?" No, I don't want to borrow any more money.
Yeah, they start coming after you,
Yeah.
offering you money. Right?
Come on.
Is that how? Do they start lowering the interest rate when they do that?
Hell no.
No.
Even back then.
Oh no!
Yeah.
It's like we got more. We got higher interest rates. Come here, take some money.
Yeah,
Are
no,
you
we're
still as
friends.
stupid as you were?
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, the reason why we have Chef Janos Wilder in studio, beyond being a legend, he's also going to be one of the judges of Meet the Chef, which is on October 5th at Desert Diamond Casino. So you can still get your tickets at KFMA.com if you want to participate in Meet the Chefs. And
Are
he
you
has,
telling me it's not sold out yet?
I don't know. I do on the safe side. I just tell people to go buy
I
stuff.
think that's a good idea, and
Yeah.
you should get them soon because I can't imagine it's not going to sell out.
Sells out every year.
Every
Yeah,
year.
and this is kind of a big deal. The chefs that are competing
Oh,
for
yeah.
this are great.
Yeah,
It's
you-
going to be a really cool competition. They're different style of cooking.
Yes.
And they're both really, really good.
Are you familiar with both? I mean, we have a reigning defending champion is Chef Kenneth Foy. Yeah.
Two-time champion. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And he's going for his third. And it's not necessarily a rule that you should retire Tucson Iron Chef after your third win, but that's been kind of the standard.
I think that's going to be the rule for Anthony to try to retire him.
Yeah,
Yep.
he
Yeah,
wants
but-
to.
And I know Anthony. Anthony worked for me for a while.
Oh,
So,
really?
yeah, he's really, really good.
Yes.
Okay.
He's really, really good. So and he has a very different style
Yes.
than Ken. And Ken's awesome, man. He has developed a team. He knows what he's doing. I mean, this is not easy stuff.
No.
No.
By any means. I mean, and the caliber of these chefs, they could go anywhere in the world and compete.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so they're really, really good. And
And
it's
Chef
really
Anthony
fun.
is still young, which is even more surprising because he's the chef at Obon. So you thought just sushi chef, like he just knew how to cut and present sushi well, but it's far beyond. It's more complicated, and his skill levels like far beyond that. And it was
Well, I want hold on.
Okay.
Okay. I have to disabuse you of this notion
okay.
that as just being a sushi chef isn't skilled.
I'm like, you
That
don't even
is-
cook it, bro.
But the traditions to do that properly, I mean, sushi chefs have to learn so much about what they do. It's to make something that looks so simple is so complex. It's like the duck. They're
Yeah.
paddling like hell to make it look so simple and placid in there. He's really skilled, but I know because he worked for me, he's skilled in all sorts of types of food
Okay.
other than sushi. But that is his first love.
The restaurant that he worked for you at, which one was it?
Downtown Kitchen Cocktails.
Okay, Downtown Kitchen, which was like kind of American.
No,
Oh.
it wasn't. No, it was really international. It was really we wanted to say something about American. So it's American food, but not in the way of hamburgers and pork chops.
Right.
Right. It's the food that first-time Americans bring with them from their home.
Right.
And
Okay.
so that is more American than anything else. Right?
100% made
And
us
so-
the melting pot it was.
Yeah, and
yes.
so really, it was a celebration of who we are as American through the eyes of first-time immigrants, and as seen through filtered through me.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I love that. So it was basically a menu that kind of went across the spectrum. You had some like Italian, I imagine Mexican if you're in Tucson.
No,
Greek.
certainly, yeah, Mexican. But it's the latest wave of immigrants aren't the European immigrants anymore. That's what my grandparents
Yeah.
were. But so these are immigrants who are coming from Asia and Southeast Asia and Africa and Central America. Those are the foods mostly that we were focusing.
Really?
Oh.
We're focusing on, and more than that. So I don't want to put it in a box. And that's a big box as it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he got versed in lots of different sorts of foods and techniques, and he really shined for us. But I knew he was clear. Wait a minute, I like what I'm learning here, but sushi's my first love.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, he
So
went
to
back to
bring
his
it,
first love.
so to see, I don't know. I haven't talked to him since he worked for me. That was years ago.
Yeah.
So-
After you fired him.
no, that didn't work that way.
Okay. Started out there.
No, not at all. I was sorry to see him leave.
Yeah.
I was sorry to see him leave. He's really good. But I'm really curious to see what he is. And I know Ken, the champ.
Yeah, Ken is brilliant, and he surprises me time and time again. But I will say, Chef Anthony's bite, like that night, like my entire face and all my senses lit up, and I was blown away because I thought it was just like going to be a sushi bite. But it was something that I never tasted before, and in such a positive way. Now, have you ever been in cooking competitions, or was that like kind of after your time, right? Because you've been in the culinary arts game forever. It seems like the cooking competitions didn't last like 20 years.
Thank you for asking me that question. I have a gold medal from the American Chefs Federation that I earned in 1983 or 84. I can't remember. There was a competition. They brought in chefs from the Chefs Federation. They brought in judges from the Chefs Federation, and I won a gold medal. It's still in my underwear drawer.
Yeah. Don't tell everyone, not our audience. I'll find it,
But it's the real deal. That is the real deal of real deals. I'd never competed in anything. Well, I actually did one different type of competition before that, but this was like the real deal. And So I have competed, but that's not something they did a lot of. I competed on TV for a precursor to a lot of these shows now.
There's so many of them too.
Did real well in won that, and so I've judged stuff. I've judged this before, and I've judged lots of other like barbecue competitions, all sorts of different competitions before. So I know how to judge.
And what do you look for to be a judge? So because you're judging for Meet the Chef October 5th at Desert Diamond Casino. So what are the key things you're looking for as a judge?
So there are three judges, and
Okay.
we're all real qualified. Jim Murphy, who owned Kingfisher, and I've known for forever.
Yes.
Ramon Delgado, really talented, really smart chef. So we have a judging criteria. We have a form that we go through that has a lot of different objective criteria about how they do. We may all see it differently, but it's objective criteria. How are they using the food? How are they
The
using
secret
their
ingredient
equipment?
or whatever.
How do they use the secret ingredient? And then there's a sponsor's ingredient as well. So how do they use those? And then how do they work together as a team? How do they work timely? How do they execute? How do they use the equipment that they have? How does is it presented properly? Does it taste? Not do we love it better than the other one?
Right.
Does it taste the way it's supposed to taste? We know how it's supposed to taste by watching them prepare it,
Yes.
by knowing ingredients that are in it, by our knowledge from years of, okay, this is how this should taste.
Yeah, like did
Right?
they do it right?
Did they do it right?
Wow.
And so you try to keep the criteria as objective as possible. I mean, for you, when you go in, is this beef or is it vegan?
Right, yeah. No.
It
I guess
switches.
that's kind of objective,
Right.
But it's do I like it?
Yeah,
This isn't
that's
do
it.
this isn't do I like it?
No.
Is it proper?
Right.
Oh.
Yeah, the science and the art behind
Yeah.
it and the profession, like are you hitting all that? And I think if that's the case, then I think that would put Chef Anthony potentially at a disadvantage going into this, even though he has worked in your kitchen, he could work very well. Can he lead that team in that high pressure situation to be able to check all those boxes with each plate?
He leads that team every night.
Facts.
Okay,
Yeah, true.
so yes, it is. I wouldn't say disadvantage. He's on a learning curve.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
It's different. It's not what he does in the restaurant, but it's not dissimilar.
Right.
Okay. But he has to be facile. He has to be quick on his feet. His team has to be very cohesive, and they have to learn the intricacies. That it's not all that different. Every night, something goes wrong during dinner service.
Yeah, everyone in the
At least
restaurant
one
knows
thing,
this. Yeah.
right? It's going to go wrong, on this night. Something's going to happen. Something's not going to work. Whatever the ingredient that they picked. No, I thought this was really fresh, and it's not.
Yeah.
Whatever. His team will work.
Yeah.
They will work well together. They're handpicked. But it's new. But it's the same. Ken is still. He's learned to roll with the punches a little bit more. But the same thing. One of his pieces of equipment may not work. The fuse goes out.
Right.
This is what happens to us all the time, right? And you have to learn how to work around that and get to the destination.
Right. Yeah.
What are the detours you have to take, but you got to get there, right? And it's real. There's none of this stuff is phony. None of it's staged. It's right in front of you. Nobody's. Oh, okay. Now you go back and turn off that breaker. No, that's not what's happening.
And well, that's what makes this a surprisingly entertaining, exciting competition that you could witness when you're in the crowd. You think, oh, I'm watching a team of chefs cook for an hour. How is that exciting? It's actually exciting and entertaining.
It's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, to see all the behind the scenes. So the chef Janos. Oh, you mess up my name, I mess up yours.
I didn't mess up your name.
You're right. You pronounced it perfectly.
Vegan.
Sorry, Chef Janos. Chef Janos Wilder. We're going to go down a rabbit hole a couple minutes on the podcast broadcast because Janos is the latest restaurant concept that he opened, which is Studio Janos. Sorry, because you already had a restaurant named Janos.
Yes,
So StudioJanos.com
Come out, would you please?
is what we're going to be looking at here on the podcast broadcast. We'll have film critic Herb Stratford coming up next. Is Rock 102.1 KFMA. I know, I'm multitasking. I got a lot of stuff going on.
You're killing it, kid.
Yeah. It's like,
Killing it.
yeah. All right. Yes,
So
Studio
are we
Janos.
done here?
No, let's a couple more minutes, Chef.
Okay, good.
Yes, because
We
we're
have
having
Janos, we
fun.
got Studio Janos, we have Janos downtown, we have
Yeah.
Janos
Oh, yeah,
Galactic.
what's the common denominator?
Janos.
Yeah,
Okay,
Janos.
there we go.
Yes. And is this you with mutton chops? No, that's just that's the picture right here. I was like, did you have mutton chops at one point?
Did he? Is that a?
No. Oh, that's that.
It's a good look.
So that was in Downtown Kitchen and Cocktails. One day I was so goddamn frustrated that we were so far behind schedule building that restaurant out.
Uh-huh.
I'm just going to build. I'm going to plant a garden in this kitchen, and that garden's going to grow faster than the kitchen is. And that's what I did. So that
Wow. So you had a garden in the kitchen.
It was more. No, we didn't actually grow vegetables there, but it was more like just a reaction, just like, I got to do something. You guys are killing me. You were so far behind
How
schedule.
funny.
What is the chef going to do?
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to grow a garden.
Well, those look like huge mushrooms. Were those mushrooms edible?
Oh, they're all real food. It's all
yeah.
real food.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Now, look, I'm sure if I asked any chef in town, like a Chef Gary Hickey or something, that, we're a city of gastronomy, right? Tucson is, right?
I'd share that board. Yeah.
Yeah, well, honestly, we want to thank you for being probably one of the forefathers that put this city on the map as far as a culinary city. Just knowing a little bit about your history and your legacy, it just seems like not only did you plant the flag, you pointed the direction, and then others followed. And so sitting on the board, I'm sure, definitely helps, but I don't even think it would be in consideration if you weren't in the equation. Am I wrong on this?
That's a really flattering thing to say. I think I did have something to do with it. I think, my sensibility about food when I started was that you should cook with what's local.
Yeah.
And as I began to learn more about where I was living, I'm not from here,
Yeah.
and learn about our culinary heritage and about the 5,000 years we've been growing food here, and started working with Native Seed Search, whose mission is to preserve essentially those foods, those seeds,
Yeah.
and keep them in seed bank, and then hand them out and keep on regrowing our culinary heritage through the seeds. So that piece of it is really maybe the kernel of why we've got that designation was because we have the most unique gastronomic history. 5,000 years of gastronomic history in one of the most arid places in the world, which means the things that grow here are survivors, and the people who grew them were survivors. So that legacy and those flavors, first of all, that we're growing are unique. They're desert-adapted crops, so things that were wild in the desert you learn how to cultivate them.
Yeah.
And so they're unique flavors, so using those ingredients makes our flavors unique here. But then to really honor that culinary history with the legacy, through the legacy of the people who created it and were growing and harvesting and cooking from those plants, and bringing them into the present and really into the future, because this is the future.
Yeah.
The future is that 10 latitudes north and south are going to be hotter and hotter, and they're going to be more like Tucson.
Yep.
So they're going to need the things that we grow here now.
Oh, wow.
And so we are in a world, and this is a little bit hyperbole,
Hyperbole, yeah.
but we're really sort of leading the vanguard with using these ancient ingredients, which more and more of the world is going. So we're blazing trail on how to use these things.
Oh, I love it.
I never thought
And
about
really,
it that
that's
way.
bringing it into the future. How to not cooking what's always been cooked with them, but how do we cook with them now?
Right.
That's fascinating. Well, I thank you for coming in, and this is just scratching the surface. Chef Janos, I would love to have you back again to talk more about your life legacy and your restaurants, because I feel like I'm just like, oh man, we're running out of time, but now just talking with you, a flood of questions opens up. So I look forward to checking out your latest endeavor, Studio Janos. And then you sold the other restaurants, right? Then you open, you run them, and then you sell them
I
off,
never
or-
sold a restaurant in my life. I just close them.
Oh, you just you get bored.
So I didn't really learn all those business
efficient.
lessons.
It's done.
All right. So Studio Janos is the latest. So enjoy it while you can before the chef Janos says, you know what, no more for you. Shut it down.
All right. There you go.
Well, I thank you so much, and you look forward to seeing you again and Meet the Chef. But we will be talking again here soon.
All
okay?
right. Thanks so much.
No problem.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna have we're gonna have film critic Herb Stratford in studio with us next. But earlier this morning we did our morning. In case you missed it, a little something like this. Check it out. Let me ask you guys this: which country in the world do you think swears the most? I have an answer for you. So if you can guess, Emil, what do you think?
I'm going to go ahead and say, let's go with Mexico.
Hey, Mexico. That's a good, excellent guess. And you grew up in Bisbee, so you're very close to the border. You know how much they curse. What about you, Rico?
I'm going for a wild card. I'm going Norway.
Going Norway. Oh, okay. Both excellent guesses. Unfortunately, Norway did not make the top 5. Yeah.
Come on, Norwegians.
The country that curses more than any other country in the entire world, you would think it'd be the UK, because they throw out the C word so
yeah.
liberally.
Oh, yeah, they love all that stuff.
The
T word, too.
I think that they say the C word in the news. You know what I mean? Like the BBC
Boy.
reports and just throws it out there without batting an eye.
Yeah.
But it's not the UK. In fact, actually, it's something else that America's #1 in. We curse more than any other country in the entire world. So
Yeah,
we get the
dudes.
gold medal.
New York carrying all of us on their back.
I know, right?
Yes.
Thank you.
Do you think it is, right? Well, they found that this was a new research from Word Tips found that no country in the world curses more than good old USA. After analyzing 1.7 million English language tweets, they found that 41.6 tweets per 1,000 contain swear words. And actually, a portion of those contain links to OnlyFans pages, too. So coming in second, and not talking about OnlyFans again, is the UK. But it was not even close. The city taking America's cursing crown is not New York, but actually Baltimore.
Okay.
Yeah, with a staggering 78.2 tweets of each 1,000 containing at least one swear word.
Impressive.
Yeah. I think we need to step up our game.
Yeah,
I do too.
Do you
Yeah.
think we could double
West
those
Coast.
numbers?
Yeah, dude. I
Yeah, I
mean,
think
we like just in our everyday speech, you know, I'm sure even in like corporate meetings, people throw out an F word, like not even think about it.
Right.
So I know that when these mics are off, curse words be flying.
We don't even say regular words. We just communicate with the F-bomb
Yeah.
and a multitude
Grunt.
of other ones.
Yeah, in fact, if I tried to record it and play it back, it'd just be one long beep, like a flat line.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's something. Step up your game, Tucson. You know, go immediately run to Twitter. Just throw out the F word about 5 times. Five F words in a row, I think, would boost our ratio a little bit.
And it's therapeutic.
Yeah. Now let's talk about my favorite story of the week. It's a very odd one. It's an odd medical story. Because you know it's rough when you walk into a doctor's office that should be like a routine checkup, and it turns out to be something completely different and rare. That's what happened to a 63-year-old man who ended up revealing that he was suffering from a disorder called penile ossification. Okay? That's where
Sounds horrible.
his penis turns into an extra skeletal bone. So his boner
It's a bone.
turns into an actual bone.
He literally gets like
What?
a boner.
Yes.
Literally.
Right? Now, of course, he went to the doctor for the checkup. He was having hip pain. The doctor checked it out, and he's like, uh-oh, you got this extremely rare condition where basically your wood is calcifying, and it's turning into a bone, right? And they're like, we got to, treat this.
He goes, and the bad news?
Yeah, exactly. No, and he goes, nah, I don't think I will.
I'm good. I'm good.
I'm 63 years old. You know how much money you just saved me on Viagra? You know?
Right?
Like, I'm Captain Everlong all night long. There's no stopping it. Go use it all day long. Go, knock it.
Right.
That's how I knock on the door now.
I know. I just do everything with it.
Need bread and stuff. So, yeah, this is such a man mentality, dude, where a doctor's like, I got bad news for you.
You got
Your penis is turning into an actual bone. It's going to be like one of the hardest extra skeletal bones sticking out of your body. It's probably going to make it a little bit girthier, a little bit longer. And yeah,
It never gets tired.
It will never get soft at all. It's going to be so hard all the time. We need to operate on that. You got a good day? No, actually, my schedule just filled up really quick.
getting all these texts.
Yeah.
Ding, ding,
Sorry, what'd you
ding.
say?
Too busy banging for the next rest of my life. Thank you, doctor.
You
So
sound
that's
jealous, Doc.
so yes, it's my favorite story of the week for sure.
Good for you.
All right, let's hit the reset. When we come back, we're going to find out if we're smarter than Justin Spears. Again, our running tally is whatever Justin Spears picks, we pick the opposite, parlay it, and make bank. We're also going to go through. All right, we are back here live and stuff. We've got Herb Stratford in studio. Good morning, Herb.
Good morning.
All right, real quick before we get into the on-air stuff, which we're gonna do here, and go through our movie reviews, I just want to share something with you real quick that only you will get a kick out of.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I got to make sure my levels are good, so I don't blow out people's speakers, and I don't want to upset the Todd, as we all know. Okay. So. All right, here it is. Ready?
All right.
You're going to love it. All right. Ready?
Okay.
Bob and weave, bitch. Bob and mother weave. Bob and weave, bitch. Bob and mother weave.
That's Tina. Tina and CT in the challenge. And Tina, what a godsend she's been for the challenge this year. And her telling CT how to do the challenge with the bob and weave, bitch. Bob and motherfucking weave. Like,
Well, and it was one of those moments too where I looked at my wife and I'm like, "Whoa, she's getting spicy."
hell yeah. And she wasn't wrong.
And she wasn't wrong. And then they apologized to each other, which was also like sort of. They were both like, "I'm sorry, Tina," and she's like, "I'm sorry, CT." Like they,
Yeah.
But they're both very fiery personalities.
Right.
That was a good episode.
And this is why the challenge is so great because it is a competition amongst friends and they develop friendships over the years. This is over 2 decades been together, so it takes a friend of over 2 decades to say Bob and weave, bitch. That's how you do it. Rock 102.1 KFMA, hanging out here with film critic Herb Stratford, who is also a fan of garbage reality competition shows. So we just shared our little geek moment with Tina and CT from last night's episode of the challenge, but we're not here to talk about the challenge because we want people to listen to the show. So let's
But let me just say, this past episode was very spicy because you had the big Lauren and Cara Maria fight.
Laurel.
And
Oh.
Laurel,
Yeah.
sorry. And it was a lot. It was a lot of yelling. So I'm just gonna say that was.
Here's the situation with this too, and as we say, we're not going to talk about it. Let's talk about it. This situation is a relationship of like a big sister little sister dynamic. That's a super toxic relationship.
Yep.
And they didn't air a lot of the actual argument, the fight that happened, because it was so toxic and combative and abusive that MTV didn't feel comfortable airing the fight. And it was so abusive to Cara Maria, who was on the tail end of it, who initially agitated and initiated the fight in the first place, but then ended up losing the fight because Laurel went for low blows in her personal life, that she had to take 3 days outside of the challenge, that they basically paused competition because she went to a dark place mentally. That was the quote.
Oh my God.
And she had to seek therapy for this because of all the scabs that Laurel was picking was personal deep demons, and it messed with her. So that's the type of drama you're getting on MTV's Challenges.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was a lot.
but yeah, it is a lot. But we got big releases coming out this week, right? As we're gearing up for October.
Yeah, there's because of October, so there's a couple of horror films or sort of body horror movie. The Substance is the first one. Excuse me, and that is the one. It was everybody was just buzzing about it after Cannes. It's basically stars Demi Moore, who is sort of a fading Hollywood star, and she's a little bit sort of. She's got some issues with the way she looks and everything. So
Yeah.
she starts taking this new drug called the Substance, and as you can imagine, it's a very bad idea because what it does is actually makes a new version of yourself, a younger version of yourself.
What's wrong with that?
Well, is it going to stick around? How long does it last? It's not, it's not changing you. It's actually making another version of you. And that other version of you is played by Margaret Qualley, who people may remember. She's Andy McDowell's daughter. She's been in a number of things. She was in that series Made, which was very good.
And Pete Davidson's been in her.
She's married to Jack
Fun
Antonoff.
fact.
Fun
Yes.
fact.
Yeah.
Is she married to Jack now?
Yep.
Well, that's a good rebound for Jack, to be honest.
And Dennis Quaid is also in this. You see him in the trailer there. So this was just a very buzzy movie because of the fact that it's like it's a thing, right? I mean, women definitely wrestle with this, and Demi Moore very brave. There's a lot of nudity in this film, to do this role and to basically. Talk about something that nobody talks about, right?
This is not the first time Demi Moore has been naked in film.
No,
if you remember
Striptease.
Showgirl. Oh, yeah,
Well, in
yeah,
Striptease.
sorry, Striptease is what I was thinking.
Yeah.
And you're absolutely right. And it's just reminds me, this is like Ozempic, right? This is the society that we live in today.
Yep, exactly. Very, very timely. This is 90% on Rotten Tomatoes, so there's a lot of buzz about this one. Definitely worth checking out just because what an interesting story, right?
Yeah, do you believe that it's 90% of Rotten Tomatoes? They got a little boost because of the nudity?
Of course.
Okay, yeah.
Of course it did. Yeah.
Absolutely. If you're looking, you're looking at the trailer right now,
Look
which
at Margaret Qualley. Come on.
yeah, Margaret Qualley looks amazing in just the shots that she did, and I'm still a fan of Demi Moore now.
Of course.
And in fact, actually, I would swipe right on her 10 years from now. Like I will date 80-year-old Demi Moore.
You'll always be G.I. Jane to me.
She is milfy very much. So.
Yes, absolutely. Or Gilfy at this point, but still, 100% all in.
Yeah.
This seems like a fascinating picture. It seems like it's very it kind of pops visually.
Yeah.
So yeah, like a big cinematic feel for this one, but it takes you down this kind of like psychological rabbit hole. Huh?
Yeah, absolutely. So definitely worth checking out. Like we said, as we come into the fall season here, we've got a mixture of things that are sort of horror based, but also might be a little bit of awards based. You never know if somebody's going to get nominated out of this, right?
Yeah, this is more than just kind of like the slash 'em up, blood and gore horror film.
Yep.
Oh yeah, but then she's gonna mess up her face right here.
Crazy.
Yeah, she takes her makeup off. You're like, no, Demi. Oh, swipe left. I changed my mind. Yeah, fascinating. Yeah, this looks like a psychedelic picture on all levels.
Yeah. Very excited for this one to finally be out.
Okay, yeah, and you got to see this a while ago.
I
huh?
did. Yeah. It's a trip.
Yes.
It is absolutely a mind boggler. So definitely
Damn.
check it out. But go in. This is not like a feel good, family film.
Right. Don't bring the kids
Yeah,
for this
no.
one. Yeah. And this is the reality that we're living in, it seems like. Well, we have film critic Herb Stratford in studio. We're going to talk about Film Fest Tucson and so much more here. We're going to keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, and we'll be back right after we have play music from STP and Foo Fighters. So you can keep it right here or join us, youtube.com/beefvegan. I mean, to get distracted with so many Oz. So
Yeah,
many
the-
Oz, you think you're
the,
listening to KLPX.
The end of that
Second
trailer.
shot today.
Going all. Yeah, you got a lot of punches in today.
You know,
Well
sometimes-
deserved.
He's feeling punchy.
Punchy.
punchy, punchy, punchy.
But that kind of gave me the Love Lies Bleeding sort of vibe. A
Yes,
little bit.
yes,
like
but
that.
just but without the sort of. I mean, that movie was intense.
That was great. I love
right?
that movie.
Yeah, it was very good. But yeah, you're right. Sort of that. I mean,
Like
this
psychedelic.
is obviously less sort of queer boxer to it. But yeah.
Yeah, let's do
A
this.
little more sci-fi.
Yeah.
Rock 102.1 KFMA. We got film critic Herb Stratford extraordinaire joining us in studio. Good morning, Herb.
Good morning.
Let's talk big blockbusters here. Transformers 1 is being released, and that's an animated feature. So
Yeah, so it's so funny to me that like they keep saying, "Oh, the untold story of the early days of Cybertron." How many times have we heard that, right?
Right.
Well, animation's catching up to Transformers because when my son was young, he used to watch the old animated series, which was not good.
No, I
but-
used to too. Though.
Yeah, it was the animation was not great. But anyway, what's fascinating about this one is the cast. So just listen to a couple of these names: Chris Hemsworth, Scarlett Johansson, Lawrence Fishburne, John Hamm.
What?
I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I've never seen a Transformers movie with this kind of a cast. 86% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Ooh.
But this is sort of the untold story of Optimus and Megatron when they were friends before everything went south. So, if you want to see a robot buddy story with voices you recognize, this is the thing for you.
I'll tell you what, we're kind of we're looking at the trailer while he's talking about this, and visually it's stunning. As far as a cartoon's concerned, it's not. Obviously it's a CGI cartoon.
Yeah, and I think that's what's interesting. Like you just said, like we've finally sort of gotten a Transformers with state of the art animation,
It
for
looks
lack of
good.
a better term.
Yeah,
right.
doesn't it?
And Transformers has its fans, right? I mean, and a lot of people were telling Steven Spielberg was telling Michael Bay stop making these movies, right?
Right.
Because they just kept going down the get worse and worse returns. So I'll be interested to see if this leads to something else, if this leads maybe to an animated show. I think it'll be interesting with all that talent. They paid a lot of money for talent.
They absolutely did.
Yeah.
And, this trailer looks super shiny, but both Rico and I, it's so funny. As we're grown men, we like, regular movies. But we're just like, I
Dude,
kind of want to see that,
I'll
dude.
guys
Oh, I
over
wanna see
the
this.
Spider-Verse, the animated Spider-Man. That was so good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah,
so good.
And this one, of course, different and doesn't have the history or the substance of a Spider-Man, but it does look like just a visually stunning and awesome cast.
But
all-star
also, you
cast.
think about it, and some of the kids that grew up watching, like you,
Yes.
I have kids of their own, so it's sort of a fun thing you can bring. Oh, I used to watch this, and it's something you guys can do generationally. I don't know if
I
VLV
wish.
wanted
Oh.
to. but-
No, I wish my daughter would be that hip.
All right.
I'm
I-
bringing my kid.
Here's a fun fact. I had an Optimus Prime pillowcase. That was my pillowcase, my favorite pillowcase growing up. I had that until I was like 16, bro.
You still have it, don't you?
No, it's
Come
gone now.
on, I
It's
want it.
gone. It's gone now. Well, because I think it like eventually just went to dust. It just you wash it so many times. I like the way it smelled. Right? It was like one of those
Blankie.
comfort things.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So, but yeah, I was literally dating and still had the Optimus Prime pillowcase until it just fell apart, and that just happens, with cotton.
How sad.
I know it is sad.
We'll get you a new one.
Would I rock it? Probably.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's
but-
say your daughter, you want to go see this movie. She's like, all right, loser. You're like, come on.
Get in, loser. We're going to the Transformers.
But you say, I mean, according to Rotten Tomatoes, the early critical reviews on this, they say this is 86%.
That's up there.
Yeah.
For an animated film, that's extremely high, especially for a franchise. So find out how Transformers all began with Transformers 1, which is hitting theaters this weekend. Thank you for popping in, Herb. I appreciate you. We're going to hit the reset, be back with more Beef Vegan Presents after these words. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. All right, so yeah, that's...
I didn't know they were friends.
They were besties.
How sad.
Yeah.
Makes it even more tragic.
I know, right?
I'm gonna watch the Shia LaBeouf movie with a new tear in my eye now.
He's not in
They were
it.
friends. I
They
know,
don't,
but go
they
back
don't
and
have
watch that
Shia
one.
in there, which is, I guess, a crying shame. right? Did he basically get himself like booted from the?
You know, I think that was when he really went off the deep end. You know what I mean? Like I think of like sort of the peak Shia LaBeouf moment was when they did the table read of Fast Times. Did you guys ever watch that?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he was smoking weed the whole time.
Really?
And it was just like, okay, I think we're reaching the nadir. There were the peak, the bottom of the barrel for his experience. And then he cleaned it up a little bit. But yeah.
Right. Somebody's calling real quick. Rock 1 2.1. Who's this?
Hey, it's Patrick.
What's up, Patrick?
Hey, you guys were talking about how what was it, Transformers, I think, had 80-something on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yes.
Yeah, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse has a 97.
Yeah, boy.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're not saying that it's going to be better than Spider-Man or the best animated film of all times.
He's like, I just want you guys to know that.
Yeah. Toy Story 2 or Toy Story 3 is the one that I think is greatest of all time, which is an insane Rotten Tomatoes rate, but they're still cranking them out. And they should have stopped there. Did you see the Quentin Tarantino talk where he loves the Toy Story trilogy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he won't watch anything beyond Toy Story 3 because to him that was the perfect ending.
It was.
And you can't argue it. Yeah, it really was the perfect ending. So I appreciate the call there, Patrick.
All right, man. Thanks.
All right,
Later.
Oh, yeah.
Later.
Once you get into like animated top fives, you could do that.
And it was really good, actually. The Terminator animated.
Yeah, I haven't
The
watched
anime.
that
It was
yet.
really
but
good.
I saw that it's
recent?
on Netflix.
Yeah, it's like an anime
Yeah.
Terminator story. They did
Yeah,
a good job with it, though.
I can't fuck with anime. They did a Rick and Morty anime too, and I'm just like, I tried to watch it, but I'm like, Rick and Morty's animation was already shitty to begin with. Why try to step it up a little?
But you know what's interesting is when you talk about the animated world. So the War of the Rohirrim, which is the animated Lord of the Rings, is the movie that's coming out.
Yeah.
It's animated, but it's animated. It's anime, so it's Japanese animation, which is so interesting to see that Lord of the Rings story, which is very Celtic and very sort of Northern European, and have these characters rendered in an Asian style. You're like, wait, what?
Right?
Very interesting.
Okay,
But,
I'm sold. I'll watch it.
Yeah, no, storytelling is storytelling, man. So yeah.
You're absolutely right. Rock 102.1 KFMA, it's Beef Vegan Presents. So, I got film critic Herb Schaffer popping in and out this morning, and it is Halloween, like, right around the corner, right? So we're somewhat already celebrating that by checking out horror films. I actually saw a piece of the top 5 horror films of all time, and IndieWire put this together. And some of these are older films, and that's why I needed an older friend in studio who was actually around and living when these were released. So, like coming in number 4, The Cabinet of Dr.
Caligari.
Caligari, yeah, which came out when Herb was in high school, 1920.
Yeah. It's known for the fact that it's a surrealistic. It's got the most ridiculously incredible sets you've ever seen. It's a real trip, a real trip. It's black and white, obviously, in 1920.
Does it still hold up today? Then
it does, actually. It's very cool. It's one of those things I hope they never remake because they just screw it up.
Yeah, they probably will. But actually, I mean, it's been 104 years. They haven't yet.
Yeah,
So,
well,
knock on wood.
Yeah.
A movie that they have remade time and time again, coming in number 5, it was Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, and it's funny, they don't seem to ever be able to completely capture that, that insanity and the low budget. I mean that's by director Tobe Hooper, and that really scared the pants off people. I mean, it really did.
Yeah. And especially with the tagline based on the true story.
Yeah,
So then people's imaginations ran wild for that.
Yeah, Leatherface.
And became a billion-dollar franchise.
Yep.
All right, Don't Look Now, which came out in 1973. So a little back-to-back years. You know about that movie?
I'm blanking on the premise. Do you have
Okay.
it there?
I don't actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That one's just.
What
I
year
know the
was that?
name. 73.
70.
Yeah, 1973.
Huh.
So here's the top 2, according to IndieWire. And this is a mix of modern films and films that paved the way for the genre. They're best horror films of all time. John Carpenter's The Thing,
Okay.
which came out in 1982.
Okay.
Right? And then number 1, I'm not even familiar with this one, Possession, 1981.
I don't know that unless that could be a French movie. I don't know. Rico can look it up. But But yeah, no, it's interesting. The Thing, they tried to remake The Thing and it just didn't work.
Yeah.
It just did not work at all. And it's one of those Kurt Russell, just brilliant films like that and Escape from New York, right? That was prime Kurt Russell. The Thing is a very good. It's science fiction. It's horror. I mean, it's a classic. It really is.
I think they are. No, that's Toxic Avenger. So yeah, no, The Thing is something that you definitely have to put on your to watch list this Halloween season.
And the practical effects, Rick Baker. I mean, you think about. This is all practical. There's no CGI. So
Yeah.
the monster creations are absolutely terrifying, and they hold up to this day.
Right, Rico, did you find out about Possession?
It's 1981, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a psychological horror drama film directed by Andrzej Zulawski. It's like a spy who returns home to West Berlin from a mysterious espionage mission to find his wife wanting to divorce, but then it kind of unravels from there.
Okay.
Have to check it
Is
out.
it in English?
I think so. It has
See,
Sam Neill. it
Here's the
says.
thing with IndieWire. What's
Sam
great about
Neill.
IndieWire lists is they're going to drop stuff in like that on you, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's not just the obvious, The Exorcist or whatever, or Freddy or whatever. They're going to drop something in like you should watch. this.
Exactly.
Right.
Some hipster points.
So,
Do
yeah.
your homework type
Yeah.
of deal.
Yeah.
Well, those are the top 5 horror films according to IndieWire. All right, we're back here with Herb Stratford on Rock 102.1 KFMA. So, Herb, let's talk this Film Fest Tucson while we have a moment
Yeah.
on the air, because I'm so proud of you each and every year when you put this together. Herb is the arts and culture guy, and that's how you can find him on YouTube, where he's doing all these interviews. But this dude literally brings arts and culture to Tucson. And without Herb Stratford, this place would lack culture.
Me and Janos, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
totally. Yeah.
I love it.
So tell us what to look forward to in this year's Film Fest Tucson, which is going to be happening October 10th to the 12th this year.
Yeah, so this is our 8th year, and we've got about 34 films between shorts and features, and a lot of Arizona premieres, and a U.S. premiere on a Saturday night of a movie called The Wall, which is about a Border Patrol agent. And then also on Friday night, we're doing, we don't do this every year, but we're doing a screening at the Fox of this movie called Space Cowboy. And there's a Southwest premiere. It's only played, I think, 2 places. It played at Toronto, and I think it might have played one other place. And it's about about skydivers and Joe Jennings, who is the #1 cinematographer who shoots, so he has a camera attached to his head, and he shoots all the commercials or all the films like Tom Cruise. He shoots all that stuff. He's the cameraman that flies out of planes. And what's interesting about this movie is it's a great story about him and sort of other skydivers, but a lot of this was filmed up in Eloy because that is the largest drop zone, I think, in the United States. That's where more people jump like every single day. So a lot of the Eloy crew coming down for the screening. Joe Jennings will be here for the screening. And so that's exciting just to have that. The producer's a friend of mine, and when I found out it was done, I couldn't wait to get it. But a lot of other great stuff. The Last Rifleman with Pierce Brosnan, Memoir of a Snail, which is a beautiful animated film that we're showing that won all the animation awards in France recently. And there's just a lot of great stuff on tap. And $12 a ticket, or you buy a pass and come out and see some movies. So yeah, it's coming up here about 3 weeks from today.
Yeah, so many films each and every day that you can watch, at various locations. Scottish Rite, Blue Room, Red Room, where's that at?
So the Scottish Rite is the 110-year-old Masonic building downtown. So most of our screenings, all of our screenings, are either downtown or at Main Gate Square. So you can hop on the streetcar and get back and forth. But yeah, 3 screenings at the Scottish Rite. It's a Masonic building. Then we're at the AC Hotel, and then we're at Main Gate Square for some free outdoor screenings, and then also on Friday night at the Fox.
Yeah, Friday Night at the Fox is the big one, Space
Yep.
Cowboy with the Q&A,
Yep.
which that's amazing as well. So people can get all the information on the entire Film Fest Tucson this year at their website.
Yeah, filmfesttucson.org. And then I would also say one thing that's sort of interest to the music crowd is we have a great doc called Electric Lady Studios, a Jimi Hendrix vision. And that's about the making of Jimi Hendrix's studio in New York, in Manhattan, called the Electric Lady Studio. And it's cool because it's not just a bunch of rock stars talking about recording. It's all the guys who built this studio, right? And how they turned it into this incredible space that is still an active recording studio. So we're going to see if we can get some tickets through Mucho to give away or whatever.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I love free tickets, Herb
Yeah.
Stratford. All right, well, we're going to continue the conversation on the podcast broadcast there. We're going to get quick reviews of the following that are coming to the streaming service. The Penguin, Agatha All Along to Disney Plus, and Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. Join us, youtube.com/BV, and your beef tip coming up next on Rock 102.1 KFMA. Yeah, we have so much stuff that we didn't even have time to get to. And I didn't even talk about Wolves.
Yeah, Wolves. So Wolves is on Apple TV, and this is, of course, the reteaming of Brad Pitt and George Clooney, and they both play cleaners. So they're both called to the same crime scene to sort of get rid of the evidence, and then they have to work together, and, everything goes south. But how do you not love these two guys together? They're just like the perfect pair.
They got great chemistry,
They
right?
really do.
It's
They
like
really
Rico
do.
and I.
Like you want to hang out with those guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you're like, oh, okay, just like you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, like Rico and I.
You're the
You
Brad,
know,
you're
like
the George.
us.
You never try to hang out with us, huh?
You George
Who's
or
the
Brad?
Brad? Who's the George?
Yeah.
I'm going to say I'm the George because I'm older.
Okay.
Am I? Is it okay if I'm the George? Yeah, I'm
I
distinguished.
have to be Brad Pitt. Damn it.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Are we good with that?
What a bummer.
I just want to be on the same page. We agree.
Okay.
You know, here's a fun fact
There's no
about.
losing that game.
Yeah, I saw this unbelievable fact about Brad Pitt when Fight Club aired at Cannes. It got booed, right?
Oh, yeah,
the
yeah.
whole audience booed, and Brad Pitt allegedly leaned over to Edward Norton while they were booing, and he said, "This is the best film I'll ever be in."
He's right.
And he was right.
I mean,
yeah.
you know, he's got a lot of hits. I mean, I love Legends of the Fall, and I actually like Benjamin Button. I mean, he's done some great stuff. Even Thelma and Louise, you know, I mean, Brad's done a lot of great
Well,
stuff.
he was the eye candy,
Yeah.
the fuck boy in
Yeah.
Thelma and
Yeah.
Louise, right?
But I mean,
Bird After Reading.
But you know, you're right. I mean, honestly, Fight Club, it's such a mind-boggling movie. I mean, it's just so crazy. So yeah, if you haven't
Him
watched
and-
that in a while, check it out again.
Him in 12 Monkeys is still one of the
Oh,
best things ever.
yeah.
Oh, monkeys,
Oh,
yes.
my God,
You
yes.
Guy's been on a tangent. So, well, with Wolves, that's a movie, right?
It's a movie. Yeah.
Okay, so only on Apple TV Plus,
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So when those guys signed up to do the movie, they thought it was getting a theatrical.
right?
So then when Apple bought it, they're like, oh, we're streaming. And they're like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on.
Yeah.
So it does have a little bit of a theatrical in some of the big cities to make it eligible for stuff.
Yeah, but they're like, hey, we're Brad Pitt and George Clooney.
Right.
Don't just throw us on Netflix,
Yeah.
bitch. Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
I get it, and I'm surprised that they didn't win that argument more. But this is still the streaming wars
It
where
is.
people are just bidding and buying up properties. So
Yep, yep.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Who's directing that one?
you know, I don't know that it was anybody.
Soderbergh?
No, I don't think it was anybody big. I don't
couldn't
remember
afford a
right
good
now.
director after you get George Clooney and
Yeah,
Brad Pitt.
That is very true. So,
You know,
yeah.
it directs itself.
Right.
Look at these guys.
Yeah.
Director. Director. We got Clooney. He's going to call the shots anyways.
Yeah,
So any
exactly.
director on there is like, hey, I want you to do this. Like, no, I don't think
shakes
so.
his
I
head.
think I know better than
No.
you.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. I'm George Clooney. Yeah. And honestly, it's probably shadow directed by George Clooney.
It could be.
Would not be surprised by that at all. All right. So with the 3 series that are coming to our streaming services, Agatha All Along, which I think was Aubrey Plaza hopes to be the gayest thing on Disney Plus.
She did say that, I
She
believe.
did say that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because it's like yeah, and you know what? She's having a moment because we're going to talk not this week, but next week. I think we're going to talk about My Old Ass, which she's in, which is a really, really, really great film.
it's called My Old Ass.
My Old Ass.
Amazing.
It's a really good movie. She's on a tear right now. So yeah, Aubrey
love
Plaza
her.
is joining Catherine Hahn, and of course this is sort of the spin-off off of WandaVision,
Right.
and everybody just loved that Agatha Harkness witch character. So yeah, but it's only 69% on Rotten Tomatoes. Interesting.
That's appropriate for if you're thinking,
Yeah.
gay lesbian stuff, right?
They
No?
did that on
Okay,
purpose.
sorry. Yeah, they did. Disney did it on purpose.
Yeah.
You dogs, you dirty dogs at Disney,
Dirty
you did it
Disney.
again.
Oh, I just got that.
69%?
Yeah.
Yeah. She's married.
Her mind's not in the gutter. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, as soon as she
Airing
says
at
I
420.
do, she says I do to life, but I do not do 69 anymore. I think that's in the vows. Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story, and this is a running series, of course. The same. Right? Was it Ryan Murphy?
Yeah,
who did,
Ryan Murphy, and he did Monster, which was the Jeffrey Dahmer, which honestly was brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a big Ryan Murphy fan. I feel like it's sort of over the top, but Dahmer just held me mesmerized.
Yeah.
That series was remarkable. So yeah, so he's turning his camera now on the Lyle and Eric Menendez story. For those who don't know, these two young men shotgunned their parents to death in L.A. It was a big story, and then what ended up happening was, not that this is ever okay to kill your parents, but it turned out there was a lot of abuse.
Yes.
And so that came out in the trial, and there's actually new stuff coming out even now about the parents abusing other people. The
Yeah,
other
we're
thing that's
getting back
interesting
on
about this is,
Very good.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rocco and 2.1 KFMA. We're talking about Monsters, the Lyle and Eric Menendez story on Netflix. What's interesting about this is what, Herb?
I was just going to say the casting. You know, a lot of people want to work with Ryan Murphy. So the fact that we have Javier Bardem and Chloe Sevigny playing the evil parents,
Ooh.
that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
That is a big deal.
It's a big deal for a couple reasons. One, it makes us old. Chloe, she was in Kids.
Yeah, that's true.
She's
when-
awesome.
That's where she
She
started.
is awesome, and
Yeah.
she's literally like, she was the age I was in Kids when I was just kids. I'm like, well, are you telling me now they're playing the Menendez parents? Like, what?
You are. This is if Veal Vegan did something horrible. Yes.
I know. And I like your evil laugh on that as well. So you're like, welcome to the club.
Now you know.
Yeah, amazing though. Do they do a good job and really nail it with the acting here?
I haven't watched all of it yet, but from what I've seen, yes. It's just, and there's so much to that story. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just just like the OJ thing. You know, the deeper the onion peel, the skins on the onion, there's just a lot there. So I was not a fan of Ryan Murphy, but now I'm like, all right, who's next?
Yeah. Well, who is next? It's Charlie Murphy, who's going to be Ed Bean. Yes.
Charlie Hunnam.
Or
It's gonna be Ed
Charlie
Gain.
Hunnam
Okay.
as Ed who?
Ed Gain?
Ed Gain,
Yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
Which I was like, I saw this yesterday, and I'm like, yeah, Hunnam, I liked him from Sons of Anarchy, and I looked up Ed Gain because I'm not that familiar. I'm not, like a perv for serial killers. But
Oh,
then
he's crazy, though.
He was kind of crazy, but then I looked at his Wikipedia. I'm like, he only got like 3 bodies officially on the record. Yeah, he would dig up dead bodies and like make art out of it, but I'm like,
Silence of the
that's a
Lambs,
whole
right?
series. Is that the
The guy that puts the lotion on its skin?
Yeah.
And
So
that's
that
where he
was-
comes from.
Buffalo Bill is based on him?
Yeah, Buffalo's Bill's based on him.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And I
Okay.
mean, not everybody can have John Wayne Gacy numbers and have like 30 kids buried in his basement.
No, doing
get
like
it-
QB stats
Come
on serial
on,
killers.
man.
If you're gonna say serial killer, then rack up some stats, bro. Or
But
you're just a
Charlie-
regular killer.
Charlie Hunnam is him, though. It's a very interesting casting choice, in my opinion.
If you look
Charlie
at the
is such a babe.
yeah, but if
he
you
is
look
a
at the
handsome
pictures
dude.
side by side, Ed Gaines, in the right light, probably could be a babe as well.
I don't think
Yeah, like
so.
a Charlie Theron in Monster.
Yes, absolutely. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have on the FM side. We'll do a couple minutes here on the podcast broadcast. You can join us youtube.com/PeakVegan. Tomorrow morning, we'll continue to give away tickets for Falling in Reverse. But until then, Robin Nash is up next. Enjoy the rest of your day. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
I think it's Geen.
I think it
Geen?
is. I think
It's
it is.
Geen.
Geen.
Probably.
Yeah.
I'll show you a picture here. And am I getting yelled at by commenters in the stream that I'm pronouncing it wrong?
No. I'm just.
She belongs to the Serial Killer Watcher Club, so she has to make sure
trying
she
to,
gets.
edit myself, and I'm pretty sure it's Geen. There's also a band.
Yeah, that's where I recognize it. Here's pictures of Ed, and so like say this one I guess is one of the most prominent ones that he went right. So and
He's not
here's another
handsome.
one.
He's not Charlie Hunnam handsome.
Look,
No.
here's Charlie Hunnam right here, and look at the face he's doing there. There's
it's
a
strange.
It's not that
Of
strange.
all the actors,
A little bit of act. First off, find an ugly actor, and
I don't
and
want to lust
I'll
after
show you
that
an
guy.
unemployed actor. But so they're gonna be good-looking guys. But yeah, Ed Gein's grizzly in his own ways, and a little bit of makeup. I can see it in the eyes. That Charlie could pull this off. And you guys, you're too like focused on the chiseled chin and all
Oh, I
that
love
shit, right?
Charlie. He is a cutie.
Yeah, I know. You're getting thirsty here. But I'm
Jax
saying,
Teller.
I'm saying he could probably pull off Ed pretty well. I thought it was good
See,
casting.
this is the creepiest thing about growing up in Wisconsin too, because it's early '90s, late
Yeah.
'80s, but there was still like that fervor around like serial killers around then, like that clown one.
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy.
I think he was from
Gacy.
Chicago
He
or
was.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
He was Chicago. Yeah.
Hey.
I'm glad you say.
79 Chicago, because I was actually 14 and living in Chicago when all that stuff happened, and it was sort of scary because you're like, oh wait a minute, there's a serial killer here.
Right.
Yeah.
And I mean, granted, he was like a kid's birthday party clown. I mean, there's just so many things wrong with that story.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Geen was from Plainfield, Wisconsin. So I was like, yeah, a lot of Midwestern psychos.
Yeah.
And you're from there?
Hee hee.
What's in your closet?
Yeah, sometimes he's so monotone, and you talk about the Midwestern psychos and the
tired,
connection.
dude. All right, my bad.
That's true. I've seen him
Don't
awake.
check
I've seen him
Rico's
awake.
trunk on the way
I
out.
know.
Right?
He drives a truck. It's all.
He drives the truck
Yeah.
with the cover on it.
Oh shit!
Checking the boxes.
Ay, ay, ay.
All right, we're gonna wrap up the stream part. Herb, thank you as always.
Yeah,
brother.
absolutely. We'll see you next week.
That's